Straight up. Welcome back to your Way Happy Bible Study on CUBN. We are in the book of Revelation, chapter 17, and we're going into verse 5. And upon her forehead was a name written. We're talking about the whore, okay? The whore is mentioned in verse 1. This whore is someone who the kings of the earth have committed fornication. Who is it that is bowing down before the Pope? It's the world's leaders. The kings of the earth have committed fornication. They're bowing down to a man rather than to God. And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. The church is wicked. The false church, the Roman Catholic Church. Now, we're over here at verse 5. And upon her forehead was a name written. This is the forehead of the false church, okay? Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Did you know that every single false religion came out of the Catholic Church? All of these false religions are the daughters of Babylon. That would include Protestant Christianity. And so before you freak out and go, what? Remember, the Roman Catholic Church is the whore. Protestantism came out of the Catholic Church. It was like a daughter of the Catholic Church, a daughter of Babylon. All of these false religions, all of them came out of the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church invented Islam, Protestantism. Everywhere that it went, it created a church there, all over the whole earth. The Catholics have gone all over the whole earth and made all of those who they have converted twice as much children of hell as they are. Now, it says mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. This is the mother of the false church worldwide. And that is why the Roman Catholic Church has been so successful under Pope Francis in bringing all of these false religions back under this one Catholic umbrella that they call the world religion, world religion, a global religion, all one religion for everybody. In verse 6, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. Nobody has more blood on their hands of the children of God than the Catholic Church. They have been murdering the true believers in Jesus for centuries. And if you ever want to see how creative they can be at torturing the children of God, pick up a copy of Fox's Book of Martyrs and take a look for yourself how bloodthirsty the Catholics from the Roman Catholic Church have been. They burned believers at the stake. They dismembered them. They put them in all kinds of torture devices. They drowned them. They did, well, I'll let you read it. There are so many creative ways they came up with to torture people. It's unbelievable. Hitler doesn't hold a candle to the Roman Catholic Church as far as how much blood has been shed. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, and she's going to do it again too. They're going to kill Jews and all those who will not take the mark. And with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus, this false church is drunken with the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. He's thinking, wow. In verse 7, and the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that carries her is the New World Order. Okay? She is the Vatican. The beast, if you look at a map of Europe, it looks like some kind of a cow or some kind of an animal with a woman riding on top of it. And if you look where the heart of the beast would be, there's Rome and the Vatican. If you look on a map from above, from space, it looks like some kind of an animal. The continent of Europe does. You've got even a foot that comes down Italy with the boot. It looks like legs. If you check it out, you'll be really surprised that it does. It looks like some kind of a buffalo or some kind of creature, and it looks like a woman sitting on top of it. Now, this beast has 7 heads and 10 horns. That is the 7 heads or 7 mountains on which the woman sits, Rome. The 10 horns are 10 kings who have not got a kingdom as yet, but they will have under Satan's new world order. Everything's going to be different at that time than it is right now. In verse 8, the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. This beast is, the Catholic Church ruled the world from up until 1798. They ruled for 1,260 years. Let's see, I can't remember. I'll tell you since when they ruled. They ruled from 538 AD. From 538 AD to 1798, 1,260 years, they ruled absolutely in the world. And then one of their heads was cut off and their power dissipated. Now it says here, the beast that thou sawest was and is not, this is verse 8 in chapter 17 of Revelation, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. So evidently, the beast that is communicating with and guiding this false church ascends out of the bottomless pit, the king of the bottomless pit, which is Apollyon, Abaddon. and goes into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder. Who's going to wonder? Those whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. The only ones who are wondering about her are the ones whose names are not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. If your name is written, then you're not even here during this time. When they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. This Roman Catholic Church will come to world domination and world power yet again, as it was before. But this is going to be after the evacuation, I believe. In verse 9, and here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. That is Rome. Rome has 7 mountains. The Vatican sits right in the middle. In verse 10, and there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen, 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. Now, a little background here. John the disciple is on the Isle of Patmos when he receives this vision, which is the revelation of Jesus Christ, which he wrote down and gave unto the 7 churches which were in Asia. Now, check this out. John is brought forward in time to see various things. Now, one of them was from Revelation 12, the star alignment that showed up September 23rd, 2017. He was brought forward to that point in time and shown this very unusual and once in human history star alignment, and then told to go back to his own time, sent to his own time, to write about it. This is another stop on John's journey into the future to view future events. As he comes, he shows up at a time where it looks like he showed up during the time of John Paul II. And he was the one who was the Pope for most of my life, most of my younger life. Now, what he sees is this in verse 10. And there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen. And 1 is, and the other is not yet come. So as John shows up on the timeline, he shows up while Pope John Paul II is the Pope. He says 5 have come after him. Pope John Paul II is the 6th one. And then he says, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. So Benedict was the 7th Pope that is also a king. The Lateran Treaty that was signed with Italy in 1939, the popes became kings of their own sovereign nation after that treaty was signed. So since that treaty, you have popes that are also kings of their own sovereign nation. So he says here, there's 7 kings. 5 are fallen, 1 is, and the other's not yet come. Now the other that is not yet come would be Benedict. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. Benedict was only in power for 7 years, and he resigned, something that is totally unheard of for a pope. A pope is a lifetime job. Nobody resigns from being the pope. You usually die in the office, or they're assassinated or something. But Benedict resigned, saying that God told him to step down. In verse 11, and his God maybe, but not ours. In verse 11, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th. Now, and is of the 7. He's one of the Pope kings. Notice in 11, the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th. Now, this could mean that this Pope receives a head wound and is resurrected from the dead. by Satan. All right. He goeth, he's the 8th Pope King, and that's Pope Francis. He's the 8th. Benedict was the 7th. Pope John Paul was the 6th. You have Pope Francis is the 8th. He's one of the 7. That means he's a Pope King like those 7. But he's different. He goes into perdition. He is not a human in a human body. He's a devil in a human body like Judas was. Judas was not a human being inside a human body. He was a devil residing in a human body. And we know that because Jesus said, haven't I chosen you 12, and yet one of you is a devil? Is a devil, not has a devil. Is a devil. In verse 12, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet. See, these leaders will not be chosen. These 10 kings are not chosen until Satan is here inhabiting the Pope, and the Pope is instrumental in choosing these 10 kings, I believe. But it says they receive power as kings 1 hour, that's a short time, with the beast. Now, in verse 13, these have one mind. Who are they being directed by? Satan, one mind. And shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Goodness. We really got some dust stirred up around here today. Been moving things around. Spring cleaning kind of thing. Okay. It just really chokes me up too. Hopefully I won't get sick from all that. The 10 horns, which thou sawest, are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. So this is the new world order. You have, after the evacuation of the believers and the children, of the children and the Gentiles with the temple born inside them, then the world is a whole different place after the evacuation. The world is a very, very different place. You know how 9/11 changed things in America overnight? The evacuation, aka rapture, is an event that's going to change the world overnight as well. These kings receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. So they aren't current world leaders. These 10 kings are Luciferians, loyal to Satan, and they are appointed by a satanically possessed pope. Okay? In verse 13, these have one mind. They all follow the snake, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. So they're going to be backing up the church as the evacuation takes place. All of the world's little children are gone. All the Gentiles with the temple born inside them are gone. The world is a very different place because you've had over 1 billion people disappear. And the world is devastated because all the children are gone. Now, when this happens, the whole dynamic of the structure of the nations is altered. And in Europe, especially, is where these prophecies focus. So, as the world is in complete chaos after the evacuation, you have all eyes on the planet turning to the Pope, saying, what's going on here? Who was that? Jesus in the sky? Why did he take the children? Why are we left here? There's going to be a million questions that these people have. And they're going to turn to the Pope for those answers. The revived Roman Empire of 10 nations, or 10 kings that ruled 10 kingdoms, are located in the area of the world where you have the revived Roman Empire. Evidently, the USA is not a factor at that point. I don't know if Yellowstone has erupted, or whether the power is gone from America after the evacuation. That's possible too, because this is a huge wheat field of the Lord's that's here. So, this is the new world order it's talking about. This beast that has 7 heads and 10 horns. That's the new world order. And all of these 10 kings are the ones who rule and reign with the beast for an hour. But at a certain point, Satan gets jealous of the church. He doesn't want people loyal to the church. He wants them bowing down to him directly. He's a wimp. He's a wannabe, okay? And so he wants the world to bow to him. And as he instructs, the 10 kings seize the Vatican and its assets, and the Pope ends up ruling from the temple in Jerusalem, because Rome is going to be destroyed. It's really going to be something. Now it says in verse 14 of Revelation 17, these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. Okay, when we come back, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll start at Revelation chapter 17, verse 14. Straight up.